Hi and welcome back to Cheeky Crypto. My name is Nick, and today, guys, we're going to be jumping down into the world of Bitcoin, taking a look at what's been going on most recently and what I think is likely to happen next. Now, as I get into today's video, if you do find it useful and informative, smash that like button. I do appreciate that. Help spread the content to more like-minded individuals. And if you haven't yet joined us in Discord, what are you waiting for? Check it out. Link is in the description down below. It's a fantastic community talking crypto 24/7. It's completely free, and I don't think you'll be disappointed by what you find down there. So why not go ahead and check it out? Let's jump right down into today's video, kicking things off with that 1 hour time frame. So here we have Bitcoin paired up with USDT. We're using Binance as our data source. Now, as you can kind of see, Smart Money Concepts has gone ahead and started to paint a bearish structure. So we've got ourselves a change of characterization from the bullish structures that we were in. Let's go ahead and find out where that last one was, all the way down here. On October 16th, right? So we can see that we had a bullish structure here. We got a break of structure to confirm it, okay? And then that was kind of continuing on the upwards, okay? So as we can kind of see, here, we've kind of got the first stage where we can see a change of characterization from our bullish state of play into a bearish state of play. Okay, so again, this to me is still technically inside a diagonal of the fourth wave, so I'm not overly too concerned just yet, but it is starting to get there. Okay, so we'll start to see how this kind of plays out. Now, from a more traditional kind of side, we can see that we are below the 50 EMA, which is the red line, 50 SMA, that's the yellow line, and the 200 EMA, that is the white line. You can see a death cross is about to happen over the next few hours just here on this equilibrium. You can see that the 50 SMA, the yellow line, is going to cross down lower than that of the 200 EMA. So we are looking at a death cross looming here. We have a very corrective pattern on this bounce to the upside, meaning essentially we're probably not done here. We are looking for moves to the downside. Tells us that we are probably not in this diagonal pattern that we hope we are, and everything has just been a false flag all the way to the upside. You can see here that we are heading to the downside, and we can also maybe start to think of this particular pattern here as also a very interesting one to kind of keep an eye on. Are we in some kind of inverted cup and handle? Those kind of things. Let me show you what that might look like. Let me grab hold of an arc. So what we'll do is we'll take this low here, this low over here, pull this up. You can kind of see your cup here. It's not the best kind of angle on it, but you can kind of see it there. And then you end up with a handle situation just over here as well, and we kind of got that little handle. Now, obviously, this is a pattern that wouldn't necessarily play out all that well. It would mean that you'd come down quite aggressively, and you'd probably breach that 34,120, which would be our wave too low, which will break our structure here for a diagonal ending on this particular structure. So just kind of bear that in mind. If we are to complete an inverted cup and handle, then our target ranges for this are going to be 1.618, which will put us right down here at 34,459. Okay, so interesting stuff to kind of keep an eye on. So it's not looking strong. To me, it looks like Elliott wave theory is probably lagging behind a little bit here. Our internal workings are now down deeper than you would normally expect them to. So we were looking for 1.236 as a support level for this move, and you can see that we've come down. Actually, yeah, we are still within its bounds, so we can take a look right here. I thought we'd drop down a little bit deeper, but we haven't. So we are still within its normal range of 34,655 to 35,187. So that's okay for a three-wave correction here. So it can still be inside its fourth wave movement. It can be. The fifth wave move, if this is the case and we have reached that local bottom, then our fifth wave movement will have changed ever so slightly up more towards this range just here, which would put us at 38,762 and 40,075. So right in line with the things that we've been talking about previously. So everything on this hourly chart's a little bit up in the air. We don't have any kind of concrete directional moves. We kind of got bearish patterns printing themselves. Smart money concepts telling us that we are now bearish and we should start thinking about those movements. We've got the traditional sectors as well, such as the EMA EMAs and the SMAs also printing bearishly. Really, the only bullish scenario that we can really see and justification for bullishness right now is under Elliott wave theory. So everything else is telling us to kind of be really cautious here and start thinking about moves to the downside. Stochastic RSI is also high on the 1 hour time frame, so it's not giving us that kind of momentum shift, but we have got better momentum on the larger time frames. Taking a look at the daily, we are still okay. We're inside this diagonal, as we can kind of see. Obviously we did breach this little trend line here, but again, trend lines are so subjective to the people who are drawing them, it doesn't really matter terribly too much. And again, we'll be looking at this as a diagonal structure, looking to kind of finish that one off right inside there, right? So we know that we do have that potential still on the horizon. Nothing much has changed on the daily time frame. We still have the fair value gap also down here at the bottom, coming in at 30,248 to 32,832. So all of that is looking pretty good. You're above the 200 EMA, above the 200 daily EMA, above the 50 EMA on the daily, and above the 50 SMA on the daily. So everything there is still okay. We're not too concerned about the daily time frame. Really, it's just the smaller micro movements happening on the smaller time frames that are causing us a little bit more concern. Now, on a weekly standpoint, you can see here that we are in the ascending wedge. This is more bearish. We are up in the overbought range on the stochastic RSI. So we are going to be looking for larger corrective moves on the weekly time frame. And again, you know, we haven't yet tested the low trend line. If you love your trend lines, this trend line spans the entire history here on Bitstamp from 2011 all the way through, connecting all of those low points, and you can see that we haven't tapped it yet. Okay, so if you're really bearish on the market, you still have hopium that maybe we can come down towards that kind of $13,000-$14,000 level, tapping the trend line. Of course, you know, there's no guarantees of that, and you know, it would require quite a big black swan event or some kind of event to occur to really create that much sell-off, in my opinion. I personally think that we have to kind of move down more towards kind of 21,000, but we'll see how that kind of plays out over time as well. Ultimately, we are looking for a breakdown here on the weekly time frame before we can go up and you know, test that higher range, which again, if you connect all of the peaks, then of course we're talking about $110,000 Bitcoin in the bullish market. Okay, now again, that's going to split opinions, because people are either going to be super bullish, thinking that, you know, you're going to get to $500,000, $1 million, or people are going to be super bearish, going down less than 10K. Here, though, if you just connect everything as you see it on the Bitcoin USD pairing on Bitstamp, then yeah, you get 110 on the top and about 13,500, 14,000 on the low side. So it is what it is, and we'll kind of see whether or not we're going to start to have to adjust our trend lines according to new peaks and new troughs, right? Again, all this stuff is subjective to the person who is drawing it. Ultimately, I'm still seeing bearish patterns on the larger time frames. The medium time frames, though, on the daily, for example, are looking okay. I'm not too concerned about the daily. I am a little bit concerned over the hourly, but I think these things can change so rapidly anyway. It's less of a concern, more on, I guess, the hopium that the medium time frame will still see a push for that 40K. And of course, the larger time frame, once we do that, is that we move on down and we do collapse into some decent accumulative areas, profits get taken, and we can start to actually usher in 2024 in a much stronger way. If we go into 2024 in an overbought status on the monthly and weekly, it's not going to end well, I think, in 2024. So it's going to be one of those. We'll keep a close eye on it all, but for now, everything here is looking okay, and I'm not too concerned on the kind of short or medium term. I think we're just going to let those structures play out, see how they kind of play. On the daily, I'm more kind of bullish. On the hourly, I think let's see how the next few hours go, whether or not we can kind of move a little bit further to the upside, and whether corrections downwards can be controlled. So I think that's going to wrap up today's brief video here on Bitcoin. If you have found it useful and informative, smash that like button. I really do appreciate that. If you are new to the channel, why not go ahead and subscribe, tap the bell, select all the notifications, and in doing so, you will be kept up to date with everything that we do here at Cheeky Crypto. Until the next one though, guys, have a fantastic day.